think there's anything in particular I want. I have a feeling, because it removed everyone else. Darn, I don't really want to get rid of luck materia, but well, I could do this, I guess. What was the other thing I wanted? I forget what it was. Oh, time. Think of the bits, Nyla. Think of the bits, Bento, as well. And Gurrier, think of the Twitch Prime. Thanks so much. And Bliss Knight, think of the Twitch Prime. So many Twitch Primes. Jagged, think of the 500 March, think of the 50. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for the support, guys. They're just standing there. Thank you, Can Died, for the Twitch Prime as well, man. Thanks so much for using it on my show.
Okay, asshole, let's...
Don't.
Yeah, sure, that's fine, Eric. That'll keep Cloud safe. Good job.
And you're wrong.
Those who look with clouded eyes see nothing but shadows.
Everything about you is wrong.
All born are bound to her. Should this world be unmade, so too shall her children.
The world won't end today. But you will.
Listen.
I don't want to listen, it's loud.
Destiny comes.
My boy.
We drag our asses all this way. This is the welcome we get. Boy, oh boy. The price of freedom is steep. Embrace your dreams. And whatever happens, protect your honor. As a soldier! Come and get it!
This is the point of no return. Destiny's Crossroads.
And why did you stop me?
I'm not really sure.
What will we find on the other side?
Freedom. Boundless, terrifying freedom. Like a great, never-ending sky. What you heard just now were the voices of the planet. Those born into this world, who lived and who died, who returned. They're howling in pain.
Because of him, Sephiroth?
Their words, they don't reach him. All these moments and memories, precious and fleeting, they're like rain rolling off his back. And when they're gone, he won't cry or shout or anything. He'd tell you that he only cares about the planet, that he'd do everything in his power to protect and preserve it. But this isn't the way it's supposed to be. There's no greater threat to the planet than him. Sephiroth has to be stopped. He has to be. And that's why I'm asking you to help me. I know that together we can do this. But if we do, we'll be changing more than fate itself. If we succeed, if we win, we'll be changing ourselves. I guess maybe that's why I hesitated.
Good lord, that was like scared me there. My ears.
You said it yourself. He has to be stopped. And frankly, I've heard enough howling for a lifetime.
When you cross the barrier of whispers, strange and terrible things may be waiting on the other side. Before making the leap, make sure that your party is well rested and well stocked with the equipment and materia. Okay, you don't have to tell me this. It's kind of obvious. My whole party, though. I was kind of expecting just good old Clued. Also, I realized I forgot to hit record on my stream deck, so I can still use all the, like, don't worry, it'll still be recorded, but it's going to be recorded through Twitch's side, so everything prior to this is going to be slightly, you're not even going to really notice it, but the quality is better when I stream through my deck, so it's going to be like slightly, if you notice like suddenly that the quality is slightly better starting now, that's why. But you're not even going to notice it, like it still looks fine without the regular record, the local recording. But I forgot to hit local record, so. But don't worry, we're recording now. If I hadn't said anything, you probably wouldn't have even noticed. But if you notice, like, it looks slightly better now, that's why. What do I give Tifa? Now that I took everything away from her. And do I... Well, Everyone's kind of good.
Thank you, Cloud.
What's my favorite song I've heard in the remake? I really liked the song when you first get to the slums with Aerith.
Cloud, we should go.
Yeah, we probably should.
So if we go through that thing, there's no coming back.
Is it our destiny to defy destiny? It's an interesting question.
Whatever happens, we'll be okay, as long as we stick together. Ready?
No?
Never tried to challenge destiny.
This could well be her last line of defense. It won't be easy. Let's go.
This is so weird.
Wouldn't be the first time I spit in Destiny's eye. Whether you can see the scenes or you can't, doesn't change that she's always trying to have it her way. Daddy's coming home real soon, honey.
I mean, yeah, my mod should probably not be chatting if it's an emote only. It doesn't really need to be an emote only anymore. It didn't really need to be in the first place. But I was focusing on the game. I'm just letting chat do what it does. I'm focusing on the game. We're back.
Don't know about you, but looks normal to me.
Over there.
Okay, that ain't right.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, it really shouldn't be emote only. I'm turning it off. Yeah, I'm not really sure why my mods turned on emote only. I said not to before, but I trust their judgment. I'm guessing there were too many people saying something about that previous scene, so that's why they turned it on. But I said before not to, so. If they had to, they had to. Too many people were not following the rules. That's a thing. Yeah, this is a different game. This is Kingdom Hearts, apparently. It's Darkside. Yeah, like I said, like I don't want to say much until we're done, but on the one hand, this is incredibly different. On the other hand, it's incredibly awesome. Hey.
I'm waiting.
Oh, we're just running. How's it going, Carnifex? Good to see you, man.
That thing. It's a whisper too, huh?
Looks a lot more like an arbiter of fate than the others.
We can beat them.
Bring it on!
This is so weird. Like why? Like I'm so lost. Like why are we fighting fate when fate is like on our side?
Best do it right.
Why is Eris suddenly like we should defeat fate? Unable to read. That's not nice, man. I feel like if they applied themselves, they'd be able to read. An entity from a future timeline that has manifested in the present day. It fights with guns to protect the future that gave shape to it. Hey, how's it going, Arco? Good to see you, man. Oh, I can look at the boy too. Creatures appear when someone tries to alter Destiny's course. They are connected to all the threads of time and space that shape the planet's fate. Wow. Absolutely nothing damages these guys.
Don't overdo it.
Let me handle this. You're up.
Need my help, please. Bring it
Oh, I at least pressured one. Oh god. I don't want to be violated. Not now. Now's not a good time.
Deal with that.
Oh, that's what that cure was coming from. It was my auto cure. I thought it was Red 13 this whole time. I forgot I actually put auto cure on. It actually works.
Take the lead.
Okay, let's go.
Correction. Correction? You're not winning? You thought you were winning. What's happening?
Come on, that ain't fair.
Run!
We gotta go.
I'm
Just go.
really glad I like equipped everyone. I was trying to come up with a way for like a three-person party that would work well, but you're constantly using different characters. They're back. Oh god, they're all attacking.
All right.
Oh god, they're immune to everything. Bad idea. Ow, holy crap. Do I have enough time? Oh yeah. Dude, you can use that like right before you get hit and it still goes off. Okay, there's some bad things going on.
Stay strong.
Need my help, do you?
Did I? Okay, I was gonna say, like, that cure did not go off.
You're up.
I got it.
I really don't know any way to deal good damage to these guys. They just do not take much damage at all. But I think that's kind of the point. There's a big hand over there. You see that? He just kind of every once in a while like, hey, I'm here by the way.
Damn it!
We gotta get out of here now.
Yeah, shoot the bus. I was using that. Can I attack his hand? Another bus. Wait, is it just him? Oh, he's mad though.
Here we go.
Man, this ability is so good. Not just for the counter attack, but the fact that anytime I'm about to take damage, I can just decide, no, I'm not. Because you get the blocked damage, you know? So, like, Cloud I can just decide he doesn't take damage if I want. Did I just heal him? I just healed him. You hate to see it. I had a feeling he might be fire element, but like it didn't. Okay, it literally says absorb fire. Alright. I'll take the L on this one. Tifa, help!
Watch yourself.
Guess it's my turn. Bring it home.
My turn. Sorry.
Okay, I've had about enough of that. Wait, all I did was stagger him? Hold on just a brief moment. What does that mean for us?
Now's our chance.
You ain't gonna get away.
Wait. There... He's taking the damage. Okay.
Don't you let up
Leave it to
now.
Okay, I see how this works. I'll be ready next time.
Good luck.
Although it doesn't seem to matter much because he got his spawn.
Eric.
We're alive.
What the hell did I just see?
A glimpse of tomorrow if we fail here today.
Interesting. The game is spoiling the game.
How do we
Basically.
stop these things?
Well, the big one is way over there. However,
These guys are right here.
Oh, the other guy's back. Why did Tifa leave the party? Wait. That's not what I want.
Let's do this.
Ouch.
Not looking good.
About damn time! Don't give them hell!
Hang back. No way.
Yeah, these guys are pretty rough to fight together.
Time to get serious.
Time to get serious. I'm glad you weren't serious until this point. That's a good news. Yeah, that scene was really weird because, like, I feel like maybe I understand where they're going now. How are you pressured but not taking any? That's okay. Correction. You're not winning. Whee! This is such a weird fight. Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait till we're done. But yeah, that made me wonder about some things for sure. Well, I can't increase the stagger bar, so I guess we just do the thing. Did that just do 21,000 damage, or was that two numbers on top of each other? Because that looked like 21,000 damage. Oh, is there a, Alright, we'll wait. We'll wait till chat refreshes. Everybody good? Death you pretty good in the chat, if you're good. Alright, good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for letting me know.
Here we go.
That doesn't look good.
I'm waiting.
Ow, 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 fire, ow.
So long.
Gotta love
Please crit. Yeah, that did 17,000 damage. Apparently this boy can take more than 9,999.
This won't take long.
That's an interesting thing. Hey, look at that.
This can't be our future. The future is always a blank page.
I don't think that's what he thinks.
them again! Least they could do is give us a little breather.
I say we split up.
I say that's a terrible idea.
In that case, Ultra Big Boy is all mine.
That's a terrible idea.
Bring it on, bitch.
Tell him, Cloud. I have Aerith, we win.
Don't overdo it.
Here goes.
Just kidding, because they don't really take much magic damage.
Needs more magic.
Bring it.
Ooh. I also don't have Barret for my
Can you take
my
over
super
for me?
defense strat. But I have Tifa for good stuff. Oh god, what are they doing? Oh, this ain't good. Oh, this ain't good. Oh. Okay. That's not what I thought was gonna happen.
Let's do this.
It's Bahamut! We got there, boys! We got there, Bahamut alert!
Keep it together.
I'll take care of them.
Ow. Jeez, he just juggled me. This could be going better.
I'm feeling pretty weak.
I would like Leviathan. That would be excellent.
Can you handle them? We'll get through this.
My
Get him!
Mega Flare! Oh, this ain't good. Oh, Tifa's not surviving this. Holy cow.
Won't last long.
Stay strong, okay?
Take the lead.
So it's my turn?
Dude, this guy does not stop attacking. Holy cow.
That's it! You've got this. I'll take over. Mind taking over?
I got this.
Bingo!
Get ready.
Oh god. Aerith, watch out. Okay.
Here goes. Don't give up.
Oh my god, it like juggles you. It's so cool looking.
Go on.
You can't even keep up with them.
I'll take care of them.
I like how Aerith is just like, I got this. This will be fine.
Stop it! That was something. I've been dying to see
If I
you.
cast this now, the Umbral Strikes might not hit Aerith.
Let's go.
I got this.
Let go of Tifa. Oh, that missed.
One more shot.
I figured.
So it's my turn?
God, you can't even block. You can't even block him. You can't even block the Umbro strike. I like how she stood up and then just sat right back down.
Watch yourself.
Never mind.
Kept you waiting?
She's almost dead. I don't know what did so much damage. Ow. This Leviathan did some work. See you later. Oh my god, all it did was split them up.
I beg of you, shield them from harm.
Which one's hurt the most? This one?
Stay back!
Okay. No, don't kill me now. Now's not a good time. I kind of want to self-destruct. Honestly, it'd probably be the best move.
I'm gonna show you what Avalanche is made of.
Oh, Stardust Ray.
Gotcha.
Did we beat it? Think so.
Yep, he's dead. We did it. That's all there is. I have enough time. Oh, I got staggered. No, canceled my Omni Strike. Sorry, there's still enough damage. Oh, I mastered something.
We did it! I'll take care of you.
For a second, I thought that said Whisper Chocobo. I didn't really look at his name yet. I was like, Whisper Chocobo. Yeah, we'll just do this. Harris is still shooting stuff. Is that his heart? Get him, Harris. Get him. Yep. Just like one hit. Because I did so much damage from everything else. Just a little plink.
Where are we?
Oh, we're out of engine. That's where we are.
I'm waiting, Cloud.
What the hell is this?
This is... Sephiroth.
Oh, that heartbeat. He threw the HQ at us. Let's cut it down. Oh boy. Hey look, I have the right sword again. I opened menu, but I don't really think I need anything. I think I have everything that I would want, ever.
Fate is not to be taken lightly.
Shut up! Not the boss of me. Want to see a funny joke?
Enjoy.
I'm sure this will give us all the info we need. Unable to read, unable to read. Resistant to everything but a sword? That makes sense.
Come, Cloud.
Still in it.
Beg for forgiveness. Have we forgotten already?
Double tap.
Seeing if he was, if he could be slow.
The weakness within.
It doesn't seem like blocking helps too much because he always jumps away afterwards.
Enjoy it.
Although, maybe I can do something like this.
Whatever.
Well, kind of worked. Always pressured.
Going in.
Oh! I like that. Is he still staggered? You know what this means. Self-destruct. Uh-oh, might not be... Oh, yo! Just barely.
The planet will claim you.
I love how that dealt damage to me. Like, there's no way. It's like part of the cutscene and I'm taking damage. With the no damage wrong. Okay, I feel like maybe I could dodge that.
Here it comes.
Uh-oh. Oh, I canceled it. Or maybe not. I'm dead.
Did you miss me?
I'm here now, okay?
No, really. He's tough.
Yeah, so what? Screw him.
That's what I was thinking.
Going all out. Don't overdo it.
I'll show you what I can do.
That was not nice.
My turn. Take the lead.
I'll take care of him.
Beg for forgiveness. You will require.
I appreciate the fact that he actually uses elemental attacks. So like putting elemental magic on would actually be helpful. Okay, Aerith is dead. I just watched her die. That was terrifying.
It's on you.
So it's my turn?
My turn. Let's finish this.
Everything's
Hey, thanks, Agent. Appreciate that.
Finish it.
I should
I'm
probably
flying.
go first.
This one's for you!
Oh, the last hit didn't count. Oh, he's got the wing. Well, now I got Tifa, so big damage.
What I miss?
Let's go.
Yeah, this remix is a big win. I'm loving it. Wind Infusion. Okay, we might be getting into more elements than I thought. Oh, the song.
Try using it. Can you take over for me?
Yep, Thunder was his weakness. Because he's wind infused.
Get him!
Oh, Cloud just took a big hit.
It's on you.
Hang back.
I'm coming.
Is he still wind infused? Let me get away! Help! 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 Guys, help! I'm having problems. I hate to see it. You hate to see that happen. Ice infusion. What happened to my raise? I said raise?
Good luck. Good luck, okay?
After you.
I'll show you what I can do.
Guess we do this.
I'll help you through this intrigue.
Or we die doing it. That's cool too. I didn't even know that was possible. We found a way.
Let's pretend
Can I break these? Yes, I can. Well, I guess it's a good time as any to summon Ifrit. Since he's ice. Or, yeah, since he's ice infused.
Deal with that.
Here goes!
all set. Watch yourself.
Take it over. I'm waiting.
Did that cure get off? Yes, it did. She's probably still dead. She's just barely alive. Holy cow.
Enjoy.
Lightning infusion. Oh, look at Ifrit coming in hot! Oh man, the slow motion is so great sometimes.
Go on.
Cancel. Ifrit's still trying to get into business.
Go on. Stay back.
Yeah, the problem is everything's reduced but wind. Like, it's not just he's weak against wind. Everything is reduced except wind. Oh, it didn't go off in time. So I was getting up. Oh wow, it actually pressured him.
Here it comes.
Can't really take advantage though.
One more shot.
Help! 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 Things are happening.
Here we go.
I could not counter that. I was hoping I could. I could not.
There. Come on. Get him. Good to go.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see.
Shake it off.
Feeling silly? Gotcha. There.
Ow.
Let's go.
I don't know if she's in the ward or not, but... Nice. Oh god. I hate when I finally pressure an enemy and then it just health gates anyways. It's so frustrating. I've been waiting this whole time to like use a Tifa Cloud combo and now I'm not going to be able to.
Enjoy.
Okay, Shadow Flare? That's not what I wanted to see. It's probably not good.
Don't give up.
I don't know who he's hitting. Oh, he's hitting everyone. Oh, okay, this is fun. I'm enjoying. Oh, he's counting down. Oh, that's not good. Oh, I don't like that. That's not what I like to see.
Kept you waiting?
Let's try that again.
Here you go. Wait, is he counting down?
That's it.
is counting down. I don't think Aerith's limit would help.
For me.
Well, things are happening.
Stay strong.
I put Cloud at 1, but no one else.
I won't let anyone hurt you. Good to go?
Go on, bingo!
Doesn't seem like there's a way to pressure in here.
I'll take care of you.
You said 6. Hate to see that.
Darkness falls.
Again? Man. This song is still so fire. Where's my elixir I threw? Elixir, please.
I'm just getting started.
I really want to let this this countdown happen, but I have a feeling it's an auto wipe. Wow, that actually happened. Tifa was supposed to throw an elixir. What happened?
Kept you waiting?
I wanted to finish with Ascension. It would have been cool, but he canceled it.
Welcome back. We can do this. We can. We can change it. Make it right.
Oh, look, it's that scene. It's that scene from the end.
Careful now. That which lies ahead does not yet exist.
Wow, he's not shirtless. 0 out of 10. Worst game
Our
ever.
world will become a part of it one day, but I will not end. Nor will I have you end.
This is...
The edge of creation. Cloud, lend me your strength. Let us defy destiny together.
Never.
Oh, it's got this part too. Falcon, teleport now.
Not yet. Seven seconds till the end. Time enough for you, perhaps. But what will you do with it? Let's see.
Mr. Vice President.
President. You mean
Mr. President.
See? Sung's got it.
That's right.
Rufus does look really cool. I like Rufus a lot. At least he left the hat. That was nice of him. My boy. I can't believe they brought this scene back. My dog.
Wait. Was that all of them?
Seven seconds to the end.
Did you see that?
Oh. Oh, thank God. The soup is still here.
Here.
Thank you.
I was just thinking, like, what if they don't have any soup? Like, what? What happens? What happens then if there's no soup? I mean, can we even continue? 7 seconds until no soup. Also, I love that it was 7 seconds, by the way. Just, you know, gotta keep the meme alive. I'm so confused. Is this happening at the same time? Is Zach just chilling out there? Like, what? This is beyond confusing. My boy! Where'd he come from? No way, we get to see more Biggs? I freaking love Biggs. Well, you're telling me Biggs back, but Jesse isn't? Big rip.
Marlene.
Big rip. Yo, Private, thank you for the gifted subs, my man. Oh, this is nice. This is so epic sounding.
Marlene! I'll come back.
So, what now?
Sephiroth. As long as he's still out there.
I thought you beat him.
We can. We will. Count me in.
If it's to be a hunt, you could use a nose like mine.
I'm in too. Bastard wants to destroy the whole planet, doesn't he? An enemy of hers is an enemy of Avalanche.
Ah, never mind. Let's go back inside. It's raining. This ain't no time to be adventuring. We ain't even got umbrellas. Oh man, Zach's theme. So good.
Almost there, Cloud. We're almost there.
I miss it. The steel sky.
I would be lost,
Well, she said she would.
drifting alone.
The unknown journey will continue. Wait, we know. Wait, we know it though. Wait, guys, we know. We've seen it. Wait,
And there you be.
we've seen this one. Wait, I have it. Wait, I got it right here. Wait, this one. It's not unknown anymore. Wait, I got it. I know it. I played it before a couple times. Oh. Wow. What? Holy cow. This is so... There's so much to unpack.
Bloody and bruised, brought to
They threw away a lot of their scenes. You know, I was just thinking, like, they threw away a lot of their, you know, in the later parts. In the later parts, they say, you know, it's like we've already seen all the scenes. We already got the Sephiroth close-up, Cloud close-up, Sephiroth close-up, Cloud close-up. So they can't do that now because they already used it. I mean, I guess they could use it again, but I was just thinking, like, man, they threw away a lot of their scenes. Like, now we've already, you know, they can't use the same tropes. So, oh man, we have so much to unpack. But first of all, thank you guys so much for being here for this. It means the world to me. I know that chat was a bit naughty, but don't worry. I expected it to be, and for the most part, throughout this entire journey, it's been better than I thought it was going to be. Everyone was pretty good for the most part. So, you know, no hard feelings. It was great. It was amazing to experience this with you guys. Even those of you that attempted to spoil it, I'm glad that you were here and we all got to experience it together. I did not get spoiled in any way, so it was fine. I think the only thing that I've actually really gotten spoiled is hard mode, because like so many people came in and said, like, is this hard mode? So unfortunately I do know there's a hard mode, which is amazing, because like I can't wait to play hard mode. I can't wait. Like this game felt amazing on normal, so I can't wait to play hard. And hard can also, you know, we can revamp hard into challenges too, hopefully. So I'm very, very excited. Very excited to try hard mode. Okay, I need to talk about this last scene before I forget, so give me a minute here. I need to unpack some stuff. So we'll talk about hard and stuff later. Let me unpack some of the stuff. So first of all, okay, man, there's so much. Okay, let me start with this. I love the ending. Okay, not talking about the plot or what it means for the future or any of that stuff. I really like the ending. I was afraid, like when we beat Motorball, I was afraid. Yeah, let me turn down the volume just a bit. I was afraid that that was kind of the end, or that there'd just be like a one-on-one with Sephiroth and that would be it. And it felt a little like uneventful. Like if we just left at that point, I feel like it would have been a bit uneventful. I was getting this feeling that like, oh man, I'm sad it's over. And then the big craziness happened, and like the ending fights were really fun. The ending fight with Sephiroth was amazing. So like that was all super fun and good. Like regardless of whether or not you think it ruins the story or anything, like putting all that aside for just a second, it was really fun and really cool, and it looked really epic, and it was fun to do, and it was an awesome ending, and it didn't, you know, like I have no complaints about that ending. It was super fun and cool. So that out of the way. This whole fate thing that they're pushing, I'm sure I'll have other opinions about it in the future, but just my first like impression, like just very first seeing it for the first time right now impression, I think I get the reasoning behind it. Hold on, is there something? Is this more credits or is this something? Yeah, I did see that, Azurite. Pretty crazy. I don't know if it was really supposed to be like an Easter egg, or like they're really saying like, here it is, it's part of X2. Okay, it's more credits. But yeah, kind of cool. Wait, what? Don't look now. Oh. Oh, because there's... Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, well, let's watch these real quick. Are these not just... Well, these are just replays, though. I don't see anything different here. Oh, like if you made different choices, there's alternate scenes. So I wonder if they're saying like these are the canon ones. Are these credits like 18 years long? I believe it. This is really cool. I like seeing this. This is neat. What a journey this was. Like I said before, like I'm really impressed with the length of the game. I feel like it's hard to come by a game that's over 40 hours long that isn't a grind fest at some point nowadays. Sure, back in the day, PS1 RPGs were like 60 hours long, but nowadays you're lucky to get 40 hours out of a game without it being like post-game content or whatever. So this was what, like 50 hours of, like, I was taking my time, but this was like 50 hours of just straight fun. Like I didn't do any grinding, I did all the side quests, but they were all fun. None of them were boring. So this was 50 hours of fun. I'm more than impressed with the length. Thank you guys for the questions, by the way. If you want to go ahead and ask any questions you want, I'll just go through all of them in a list in a minute. Don't feel like I'm missing them or anything. I'm seeing them. I will answer them. I'll just go in a big list after the credits are over. Man. So the fate thing, while we're watching this. So I feel like the thought process behind the fate thing is they want to take more steps to change the story in the next parts. So the idea was, you know, show all the tropes that everyone wants to see in this one, including like some of the final tropes, like the flashback between Sephiroth and Cloud and stuff, and the Era scene and all that, so that they can really go off the handle and do different stuff in the future. That's my interpretation, just right now seeing it for the first time. That's what I feel like what I just watched is them saying, we want to do some changes, you know? Which I know that a lot of people are going to hate. But I got to be honest, I don't hate it. Right now, I don't feel like I'm mad or like, they changed my favorite game and I can't believe it. You know, like, I don't have that feeling right now. I feel like, to me, I feel like they showed me everything I wanted to see. All the tropes I wanted to see, all the scenes that I wanted to see, everything that brought Final Fantasy VII. Like, this made me feel like I was playing Final Fantasy VII again. But I also feel like they're sending me this message of, like, we're going to change some stuff in the next ones. And here's the thing about that. I don't think that's a bad idea. Because after Midgar, everything's so split because it's a world map and you just go to Junon and do some stuff, and then you go to Costa del Sol and do some stuff, and you go to Koro and you do some stuff. And it's all split, and it just really wouldn't work in this type of game. So I'm excited to see what they do. It doesn't mean that they have to change everything, but I feel like they could do the rest of the story better, in a way. There's certain things that I'm sad about. Like, I'm sad that, you know, some of the stuff that is set up in the original so well isn't going to be set up here. But I don't know. I don't want to go ahead and say like they ruined it and they're gonna screw everything up in the next ones. Here's the thing. At the end of the day, there was a time where I felt like this game was going to be a disaster, and it wasn't going to be Final Fantasy VII at all, and it was going to be Final Fantasy 15 with Final Fantasy 7 characters, and they were going to screw up the story, and it wasn't going to feel like Final Fantasy 7, and I was going to hate it. And they proved me wrong. When I watched that Barrett scene, and Barrett had like the most amazing response, and all of the things that I wanted to see were there, that's when I had full faith. That's when I was like, you know what, Square, you did it. You made me feel like I'm playing Final Fantasy VII. So, after that, I don't want to then say that I don't trust them to make part 2 good, right? Sure, I have my doubts, like, okay, if they're going to change the story, how could it be any better than the original, and how could they make all this make sense and everything, but I have faith that they could probably do it. I don't want to be the negative person to be like, it's going to be garbage, and then when it comes out, then make my decision. Like let them do their thing. At this point, let Square do their thing, because so far they've done a great job, and I have no right to be like, yeah, well, this one's good, but the second one's gonna be garbage. Like, you know, I don't think I have any right to say that, because at the end of the day, I loved this game. So I'm gonna put my faith in Square. If they screw it up, then I'll be mad later, but right now I'm not gonna let that destroy my appreciation of this game, because at the end of the day, I loved it. So I'm not gonna let all the thoughts of what about part 2 ruin part 1, because part 1 was incredible and I loved it. So that's that, okay? Now it's time to be negative. So here's my problem. I hate fate stuff in stories. I hate it. Every story I've ever seen, every movie, every book, every video game that's ever had a fate timeline, like a fate thing, a theme of fate, I hate it. Because it makes everything feel like it's not worth it. Like they can't die because fate just decides they can't die. So like Motorball blew up the roof and the roof fell on him and the fates were like nope. And then Sephiroth stabbed Barrett and the fates were like nope. So now we have like this ultimate MacGuffin effect almost, where like the fates will just automatically see us to the end of the three or four or whatever games, right? So I've always hated, yeah, it's like this ultimate plot armor thing that I just hate. Now, having said that, they're going with this whole, like, we can break fate. And now that we destroyed the fate thing, now I guess there is no fates. So I guess in the future, we're good to go. But, yeah, I was starting to get the feeling of, like, what's the point of any of this if fate's just whatever? But I guess, I mean, we destroyed the fates, so, and it, I have to watch back Aerith and Sephiroth talking, because I didn't understand that at all. Aerith was like, don't attack the fates, they're helping us, the fates are, they're getting us to where we have to be, and then at the end, Aerith was like, let's go kill the fates suck, we gotta make our own fate. So I don't understand when she, like, changed her mind. I have to go back and watch that, because I don't understand, like, she was all with the fates until we got to Sephiroth breaking open the portal, and then Aerith was like, alright, let's go destroy the fates. And then why did Sephiroth open a portal to the fates? Like all that is really confusing to me right now. I have to go back and look at it and get a better understanding, because I don't really understand why Sephiroth even did that, or why he can do that. So that was weird. A lot of the stuff I was worried about when we started Shinra HQ ended up kind of working out. Like, I was afraid that they kind of ruined Sephiroth, because the whole idea with Sephiroth is that he's in the North Crater, and all the Sephiroths we're seeing right now aren't Sephiroth. But at one point, it seemed like it was Sephiroth. So then I was like, well, what the heck? What is this Sephiroth? But I think what happened, and I'll have to go back and look at it, but I think what happened is all of the Sephiroths until that very final one were just whispers. Because every time Cloud hit them, they like turned into a whisper, or some of them were guys in black coats too. So all those were what they're supposed to be. And then maybe the final Genova, or the final Sephiroth was Genova? So, yeah, well, there was the one that he attacked and it turned into a whisper, but the rest of them were clones. But let's just say they're all clones for now. So all the other ones were clones, and then the one that we fought at the end was either like Sephiroth from the future or Jenova, and I feel like it was just Jenova Sephiroth, especially since we like defeated him, but then Cloud was like we didn't actually defeat him, so I think that was just Jenova Sephiroth. So I think Sephiroth is still the same. I think he's still what he was supposed to be. I don't really know why Sephiroth was able to control the clones before Jenova broke out, but I guess they just kind of retconned that, because what happens in the original is when Jenova breaks out, that's when Sephiroth becomes like all omniscient and controls all the clones, and then Jenova breaks out, turns into Sephiroth, and breaks free the characters, and then from then on all the clones are talking about reunion and stuff. But they kind of move that back. Like, instead, the reunion just starts right at the beginning of the game, and Cloud's already being called to the reunion, and the clones are already looking like Sephiroth, and then Jenova just gets broken out later. So all that's different, but not in a bad way. Yeah, no, there's so much to unpack, but what I want everyone to know now is just that I don't think the fate. I feel like so many people are gonna look at this and see the fate thing and just be like, "What did they do? They turned it into Kingdom Hearts? Like what in the world happened?" But I'm putting faith in it that it makes sense in the end, and everything leading up to that, the only changes they made fit the story perfectly, and so I don't want to say that doesn't fit the story perfectly, because everything else they did was like perfect. So it's weird. I don't know. Like, I'm just afraid that a lot of people have probably just saw that and they just jumped ship. And that's fine. Like, so many other people jumped ship back when they showed the combat. Like, so many people jump ship already that if you want to jump ship, it's fine. It's your prerogative. I'm not going to be mad or anything. But I hope that some people look at this in the same way that I am. Because to me, all of the changes they made up to that point were so perfectly aligned with the original story that I have faith that they'll bring this into something that makes sense. Maybe they won't. That's fine. We can yell at them later. I just don't want to yell at them now. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at. It's like, if they're going to screw it later, then we'll get mad later. And we'll all get together and we'll be like, I knew it. But for now, I feel like we wait and we just appreciate what we have. Because I think, all in all, this was amazing. So yeah, was there anything else I wanted to unpack about the final? I mean, it was so crazy. There's so much. There was so much that happened. Want to know the Rufus thing? Was it limit breaks? Do you just have to use a limit break to stagger him? Maybe Stamp Dog is Sephiroth. It's possible. It was Braver? You gotta be kidding me. I guess, see, my idea was, at first I hit him and he faltered, and then I tried Braver, but it wasn't quick enough. And then I tried Braver to falter him during his reload, and I couldn't reach. So I guess what I needed to do was find a way to dodge the bullets correctly so that I was close to him while he was reloading, and then just instantly Braver. So that's really cool. Like, that's actually really awesome that timing is so tight, and you have to do it, like, perfectly. That's a really neat fight. I can't wait to do that again. Oh, man. I'm going to have to go back and watch all that again. That was just insane. I mean, all of it kind of boils down to, like, the Fates are dead and who knows what the heck was going on with Sephiroth, but there was a lot of small stuff too. Go watch Eurogamer's ending explanation. It's on the internet. It must be true. I'll look into a bunch of different things when I can. I have so many other things I need to do before that. Like, I need to read through all my comments and all my email. I have not read my email or any comments on any video in a week to keep away from spoilers. So I have to go through and see everyone's reactions to all the different things and everything. Like, I'm excited to see all that. I'm excited to see what people are talking about and everything. I appreciate everyone that's been dropping comments and stuff. I will go back and read everything and see all the reactions to all the cutscenes. I can't wait. That's going to be the best for me. Like, as much as it was great to experience it myself, I can't wait to see how everyone else experienced it. So yeah, I'm going to do like a bigger video about all of this, and I'll probably look into like everyone's theories and then build them all into my own theory, or just at least express everyone's different theories and then pick one that I like the most. But I'll probably do my best to try to express everyone's different theories, because certainly there'll be more than one different theory. So I don't really want to do a video that's like, this is the theory that's correct, but more be like, these are the theories that there are. I'm aligning with this one. That'll probably be what I do. But, and I also want to do like an actual review of the game itself. But before we dive into all this, oh, the other thing I want to say too is I'm really excited that Twitch chat can finally be opened up now, because while we're playing through on hard, I can't wait to like read everyone's thoughts and everything that I haven't been able to read until now. It's going to be really great, and I'm excited to read all these questions too that you guys are dropping. So thank you, and then I look forward to all the conversations we're going to have over the next couple days. It's going to be sweet. Like, as much as I was excited to finish this game, I was even more excited to like finish it so that we could play through it again with everyone's commentary together, because that's what that's what I look forward to the most, is the community coming together and experiencing it together. But in order to experience it with you guys, I needed to first experience it for myself. Now that I've experienced it, we can all experience it together, and it should be amazing. So I am looking forward to it so much. But okay, before we get to all of that, and before we get to this, I want to give a general, like, I just want to talk about the game, not the plot in part 2 and the Fate stuff in Eris and all that. I just want to talk about the game. I will probably do, like I said, I'll probably do a bigger like review of everything, but just my first impressions now that I'm done with the game. I already talked about the length. I think this is probably the most I've gotten out of a game in a long time. Even Kingdom Hearts 3, didn't stand up to this. This was 52 hours of me going pretty slow, but never getting bored once, and never grinding once, and game overing only a few times. This is the most I've gotten out of a game in a while. I think, even some of the games that I talk about being some of the biggest games, like Ni no Kuni. Ni no Kuni was 100 hours for me to get the platinum, but 40 of that was grinding. The game itself was about the same length. And the original Final Fantasy VII, when I was a kid, took me about 60 hours to beat, so we really weren't that far off. And, this game was only Midgar, so I am incredibly impressed with the length of this game. You will not hear me complain about that ever. I think it was amazing, not to mention there's more. So I am blown away by that. The combat, from beginning to end, it was fun. I feel like they ran out of gimmicks about halfway through when we got Aerith. So once you got Aerith, they kind of stopped adding more gimmicks and just kind of built on the gimmicks you have, which is a bit different than some other games. Some other games, like I use Doom as an example. Devil May Cry is also a pretty good example, where they kind of just add new stuff all the way until almost the end, so you're constantly learning new things. This game, not so much. They build you up to the point where you understand everything, and then it's just you refining those abilities to the best of your ability for the rest of the game, which I think I prefer, especially for a game like this. You want to, like, use your stuff to the best of your ability. If you're constantly getting thrown new stuff, you're kind of always trying to learn what the new stuff is. Instead, this allowed you to really figure out what playstyle was best for you and figure out which abilities were best for you. You were still getting new abilities with new weapons, which I really like. But for the most part, all the gimmicks were the same. Tifa increases the percent, Cloud does Mondo damage, Aerith does Mondo magic damage, Barret is Mondo tank. You could actually, like, use them for what they wanted to use. So that was great. The only complaint I truly have about the combat is aerial combat. I've talked about this before. It just feels like there's too many aerial enemies and not enough aerial options. A lot of the enemies that are in the air are weak against a magic, so they're basically just like, hey, you should use magic. But then there's, like, the combat simulators where you only have one character and you might not have the right magic on, or you might not have ATB, or you might not have MP, and then you're just kind of screwed. There's also enemies that are on the ground that go in the air, like the guys that climb the walls, and the game isn't coded correctly to have you jump and attack because it thinks it's a ground enemy, so you just swipe at the floor, which is a little annoying. And then probably the biggest problem is there's just no abilities for aerial combat. If there was at least just one ability per character other than Barret, because sure, Barret's great for aerial enemies, but you don't have him for like 75% of the game. If Cloud had one ability that was just like, this hits stuff in the air, and Tifa had one ability that was like, this hits stuff in the air, then, and Aerith at least can swipe, then it would feel a lot nicer. Just what, one ability, like one just like upward slash, like that would just be great. I feel like they didn't, and I don't have all the abilities, by the way, so there might be one, but given the chat's agreeing with me, it seems like there isn't one. I don't know if they had the ability to, like, waste a weapon on an aerial attack, I think that was kind of the problem. Like, they didn't want to have a weapon that had an aerial attack because that would feel like kind of a waste. But it would have really helped against certain enemies, like all the dragons and stuff that there were. And I just couldn't really do anything with Cloud. And the other thing, too, is you can run up to an enemy and do the aerial combo, but the aerial combo blows. It's like 3 hits, doesn't do any damage, and every time I did it, the camera got so wonky that I couldn't see at all what I was doing. So it almost felt like the game was just not built for aerial combat at all, especially given that there's no jump button, which is fine, but don't have so many aerial enemies then. Like, there were a lot of them. There were, like, I want to say 40% of the enemies could go in the air at some point. So it's fine if it's not built for aerial combat, but don't have so many goddamn aerial enemies at that point, because it was kind of a disaster. So that's probably my only complaint with the combat. Other than that, I feel like everything was great. I loved how every character had their own gimmick. Every character had their own builds. Even the weapons had their own builds, and the upgrade system with the weapons was amazing, and I loved it. And I love how each weapon is useful, and I love how the abilities work like Final Fantasy IX, where you can master them and keep them. Everything about the way the weapons worked was amazing, and they all have their own, like, personality, and you can see them on the characters, and you can see the materia in the slots. It really made me feel like collecting weapons was an awesome thing, and I kind of missed that, because even in the original game, when you get a new weapon, it's kind of just like plop it on, you're done, or you already have a better weapon, so you pick it up and it literally means nothing. In this game, every weapon means something. Even if you pick up a weapon, like I picked up the magic glove for Tifa, and I was like, oh, I don't really want to use magic for Tifa. But I still equipped it, and I still used it, because I wanted to try it out, and it looked cool, and I could see the materia slots, and I could upgrade it, and I could master the ability, so I could use the ability with other gloves. So, like, I was really incentivized to try every weapon, even if I, at the very start of looking at it, thought I wouldn't like it. And that's really, really cool. So I think the weapons were done perfectly. I think the combat was amazing other than aerial combat. So overall, I'm very happy with the combat. And, I think that this is such a great blend between turn-based that's not turn-based, I feel like this was the best they could have ever done to try to get turn-based fans to play an action RPG. I know there's some out there that they're not ever going to play an action RPG, and that's fine. But this is as close as you can get. Like, this is the best they could have done for anyone that was on the fence. Like, I'd much prefer a turn-based, but maybe I'll try an action RPG. This was the perfect blend, you know? I think this is the best they could have done. The only real issue is classic mode, which is a joke. I really wish classic mode wasn't such a joke, because that could have been an even better bridge for the people that wanted turn-based, but it's garbage, and there's no reason to ever play it. I'm sorry, it's just awful. I don't know what they were thinking. It's terrible. And it could be so good, but it's forced to be on easy. So it's just useless. It's just useless. So I don't know. I really wish they would buff. I hope one of the first things they do is they make classic hard mode or something, because that would be so much fun to play. To really feel like it was turn-based, you know, but actually have a challenge would be amazing. But yeah. As of now, it's completely useless, and there's no reason to ever play it. So that stinks. What else? I've said it a million times, so I'm not going to go over it, but the characters in this game are the best I've ever seen in any game I think I've ever played. They are incredible. I fell in love with every character. I never thought that a game could make me fall in love with these characters again, and it did. It blew my mind. It completely blew my mind how good the characters were. I sat here starting the game thinking, I'm going to like the characters, but they'll never beat the originals. Like, all they can do is bring a little bit more light to the originals, but we still got the originals. Screw that. These characters are the best ever. Barrett is the greatest thing ever. I'm going to get a Barrett poster and put it up on the wall. Is insane how good of a character Barrett is. It's like, it just completely blew my mind. And they took Cloud from being a boring character in Midgar to this amazing character that, by the way, by the end of the game, is still Cloud. Right? Like, they didn't screw up Cloud. As much personality that they gave Cloud, and how much different Cloud is than original Cloud in Midgar, we're leaving Midgar with Cloud. It feels like Cloud. It is Cloud. I don't feel like we've gone anywhere but Cloud Strife. You know what I mean? So that's just spectacular. And same thing with Tifa. Red 13 was incredible. I can't believe how cool Red 13 was and how funny Red 13 was. And I love the butting heads of Barrett and Red 13, because there's some of that in the game as well, and they really touched on that. I think the only thing left that I can really talk about is just the remake in general. Did they do the original game justice? Did they remake Final Fantasy VII in a way that everyone can enjoy, and the most, you know, like everyone can get enjoyment out of it? And I would say yes. You know, at the end of the day, sure, maybe the elite purists out there will look at the ending and be like, they ruined it all. But even if you are somebody who is like the ultimate Final Fantasy VII purist, I feel like up to chapter 18, what is there, you know, I feel like there's something for everyone. I really do. I feel like at the end of chapter 18, I think it was 18, I had felt like they had taken the original Final Fantasy VII and changed it in only ways that buffed the original plot. There's nothing I can point to say, this didn't happen in the original, and it screws up this. there's just nothing. Like, other than Eris being, like, all-knowing Eris, which I want to talk about in a second, but other than Eris, like, touching Marlene and having her be like, I've seen God, which is a little weird, and Eris seeming to know everything before it even happened, other than that, there's nothing I can point to where I'm like, they ruined the game with this. The whispers are there, but they don't do anything so impactful that, like, I think it matters, really. You know what I mean? Like, they don't ruin the plot. They're just there, and you're like, what are these things? And then, at the very end, they come in and change a lot of stuff. But, yeah, I just feel like from Chapter 1 to Chapter 18, there's just so much that they changed in so many good ways. There's so many little things that they were like, this was good in the original, but we can make it better. And none of it felt like they stomped on the original. Nothing felt like they took the original and stepped on it. And even in the last chapter, I feel like they did the plot justice. Sure, they said, hey, there's these two timelines or whatever, and Eris is known the whole time, and we're going to change the timeline. Like, Zack is still... The Zack we were seeing was the past Zack, so that still all happened, and none of that's changed, and none of the characters are changed. All that's changed by the end of all this is, hey, the future might be different. That's really all that changed. Other than that, and like Biggs and Wedge being alive. Zack was alive, but we saw him, I guess, yeah, okay, so Zack carried Cloud back to Midgar instead of dying and Cloud crawling back to Midgar. It's still, I mean, in my mind, Zack just died later. But I guess you could potentially say he's not dead. I mean, we don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, we can't say they ruined the story because we don't know if he died or not. We know that he was alive a bit longer, but we can't say, like, he's dead or he's alive. We don't know. So he might have died minutes later. He might be alive, and next time we fight guard armor or carry armor with Zack, like, who knows? But we don't know that yet, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, they ruined the story and Zack's alive and I can't believe it and I hate this game. Like, we don't know. So, from what this game gave me, I'm going off of that. Zack might be dead, he might not be dead. They might make a cool explanation as to why he lives. Who knows? So, I'm going with that. Okay, there's one more thing I want to say. And then I have to decide what I'm doing with YouTube. If we're going to continue the Let's Play or if we're going to... I don't even know. But there's one more thing I want to say before I forget. I feel like a lot of people are going to see this and think Eris is, like, kind of ruined because she knows everything. And the whole scene with her and Marlene and stuff is, like, really whack and totally blows the story wide open. And I'm with you on that. And I feel that, too. I feel like it's weird that Eris gets to know everything. And that kind of throws, like, a monkey wrench in everything. Right? But here's the thing. I want to throw this at you. I want to know what you guys think. I'm not completely sold on this yet. This is just a thought I'm having. So, stick with me here for a minute. When Eris goes to the Temple of the Ancients, and she gains the knowledge of the planet, and then disappears. There's the scene with Cloud and Aerith in Cloud's brain where Sephiroth comes down. He's like, duh, I'm Sephiroth. And then Aerith is like poking her head behind the tree. And she says at that point that she knows what she needs to do and not to follow her because she needs to go become a martyr. At that point, is it safe to say that Aerith knows everything? Is that the same... I'm not talking like timelines or anything, but is that the same ability that she gains there that she has here. The all-knowing Aerith of the Sleeping Forest that knows she needs to become a martyr. It seems that at that moment she knows the timeline. She's been told by the planet what's going to happen, and she knows she needs to become a martyr to save the planet. And at that point, she's all-knowing. You might agree with that, you might not. But if you agree with that, you could say that this Aerith is that Aerith, and they just moved it forward. You see what I'm getting at? They didn't change Aerith. They just gave her the all-knowing powers earlier. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not sold on that yet. But that could be a way that you could look at it and say they didn't completely retcon Aerith. They just gave her her powers earlier. If you wanted to try to make the argument that Aerith isn't a completely different beast, you could say that. Now, the argument against that is the fact that Fate is destroyed now. So now that Fate is destroyed, none of that matters anymore. Because now Fate is destroyed. We don't know what's going to happen. But I just, in my head, I was thinking, like, giving Aerith all-knowing powers is so against the plot. But really it's not. She had all-knowing powers in the previous game. It was just later. And I don't think it's against everything I've ever known about Final Fantasy VII to say that Aerith knows more than we know. Right? Like, it doesn't destroy my sense of Aerith to be like, oh my god, she knows everything. Because to me, I feel like she always was pretty all-knowing, and the planet was always telling her what to do next, and she had some understanding of destiny. So it doesn't, like, I think a lot of people are going to look at Aerith and be like, wow, they screwed her character. But to me, I don't think so. I think that this fits Aerith's character. So I think it's okay, right? At least for her character. Maybe not for the plot overall, but for her character, I think it's okay. Now, I feel so hyped to play part 2. I gotta say, at this point, I think, if nothing else, they did the greatest job ever hyping up part 2. Because now everyone's got to know, like, what happened. Are they going to retcon everything? Is Aerith going to live? Is Sephiroth going to be, like, what's going to happen? Like, they hyped up 2 so bad. And maybe that was their idea all along. If they had just made Midgar exactly Midgar. Because, okay, you want to know my fan theory? Oh, God, here we go. Death you yikes in the chat. Okay. You want to know my fan theory? Here's my fan theory. They thought if they put everything into Midgar, no one would buy the second game. Yikes. Oh my god. Oh, that hurts. That hurts to say. No, but for real, if they put everything into Midgar, and you had a big epic fight with Sephiroth, what are you gonna buy part 2 for? Junon? Like, no one's buying it for that. So maybe they did this, so we have no idea what part 2 is gonna be. Now you gotta buy it. Haha, gotcha. Laugh track. Got you. Square Enix, buy our merch. Buy the Super Deluxe First Class Edition of Part 2, because you're not going to want to miss it. Who knows? We changed everything. That's... that's my fan theory. What's that? Square... What? Hello? Oh, Square. Yeah. You want me to end the stream? Yeah. Probably a good idea. No, but... I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think that if they had made Midgar, and we literally fought Motorball. Here's the two problems. Like, A, we either fight Motorball and the game just ends, and then it's like, wow, that ending blew. Or 2, we fight Sephiroth, but then it's like, why even buy the second game? We already fought Sephiroth, and I don't care about Junon. So this way, we got this epic fight with Sephiroth, and we have no idea what's happening in Part 2 because we've destroyed Fate. I like it. I really do. I know that there's issues, but I like it. I like the fact that I'm excited about Part 2. And I will actually burn all my copies of Final Fantasy VII if Part 2 is just a carbon copy of this part. Like, they do this whole thing where they destroy Fate, and then, like, the next part's just normal. Like, we just go to Calm, and we watch the Nibelheim flashback, we go to Junon, we fight Bottom Swell, everything's just, like, normal, and nothing weird happens. And the second game is just perfectly normal, and they're like, wow, we destroyed Fate, but we're just going to do the same thing. That would be the ultimate kick in the face. But no, I'm like so excited to see where they go, and I think that, I don't know, man. I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with me on this one, and it's okay. And I'll take the hit. I'll take the punch, okay? I'm willing to take it. I will take it for you. But I'm going to be honest here. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, where we go to Calm, watch the Nibelheim flashback, go to the farm, raise a chocobo, go to the Mithril mine, go to Junon, do the Junon thing. It doesn't have the same punch. I think it would be a bad game. I think you would look at that one and be like, wow, Part 1 was better. You know? Sure, it could be good, but could it top this? Probably not. There's not enough meat there. There's a very big lull before the finale to start Disc 2. And so it just... I think they needed to spice it. I'm okay with the spice. I'm okay with the spice. That's what I'm saying. I'm okay with the spice. Because I think they needed to spice it. Maybe we still get to the city. Maybe Aerith still does her thing. Maybe everything still fits into place. But now we got the sauce. And that's what they were talking about. That was the vision. The sauce. That's what they wanted. We have the sauce now. We can leave Midgar and anything can happen. We could still end up in Disc 2 with Aerith in her scene and everything could still play out. But we have this extra special anything could happen sauce. Where now we could go to the Midgar Zolom and he could have 3 heads and Sephiroth could be riding him and we'd be like, wow, that's crazy. You know, like they can throw in these curveballs now because they've established that Fate has been broken. And I think it's awesome. So that's my spiel, okay? I think it's awesome. If you want to be a super purist and say they ruined it, that's completely okay. And I agree with you. I understand. But I'm excited. And I hope you are too. And I hope that even if you think they ruined the ending and that Part 2 is going to be garbage, I still think that the first 18 chapters of this game felt like Final Fantasy VII and it was awesome. So, that's my take. I hope everyone enjoyed all of this incredible Let's Play, everything that has gone through with all of this. I want to go through this real quick before we quote-unquote end the Let's Play. Chapter selection has now been unlocked. Open the main menu and access system chapter selection to replay any chapter from the beginning using your current characters, weapons, and materia. That, yikes. Abzu's gonna get the business. This is a great way to tackle uncompleted quests, find story elements you missed the first time through, and more thoroughly explore Midgar. That's really, really dope. Hard difficulty is now unlocked and can be selected by going to chapter selection and playing one of the chapters. In this difficulty, items cannot be used. Oh! They're throwing in the spice! Only HP is restored at rest spots. However, certain manuscripts are only available in this difficulty setting. Okay. Record of your adventure can be viewed from System Play Log in the main menu. The log contains information from battle records to story branches. You will now earn twice as much XP and 3 times as much AP. A new combat simulator has become accessible from Hojo's lab. To test it out, select Chapter 17 from Chapter Selection. The bike minigame can now be skipped from the pause menu. Huh. That's a nice little bonus. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. So, play log. Battle intel reports completed. 18 to 20. Coliseum challenges completed. Is there only one more challenge? Is it just one challenge? Shinra combat simulation battles completed. Oh no, there's a lot more of those. There's one more Coliseum, but a lot more Shinra stuff. Odd jobs completed. I still have 2 of those apparently. Enemy intel, enemies assessed, weapon abilities learned, enemy skills learned. There's only 4 enemy skills? Manuscripts obtained. Oh my god, there's so many manuscripts. Music disc collected. Oh, I only missed 2. Cloud's dress is obtained. Tifa's dress is obtained. Aerith's dress is obtained. Well, now we know what we got to do. That's the most important. Chapter 14, Resolutions Witnessed. What's Chapter 14? Is that Big Boom? Is that Plate? Oh, the scene with Tifa. So is that like based on date points or something? Is that like the decisions you make? And then chapters cleared on hard. So this is a lot different than I thought. I thought hard would be like start the game over, but this is basically play each individual chapter on hard. Man, hard must be nuts then. If you get to keep everything, that's going to be exciting. Okay. Interesting. When replaying a chapter using chapter selection, quests and story data will temporarily reset. You will retain all acquired collectibles, such as music, deaths, and manuscripts. Completing a chapter will update your previous play data, but switching to a new one midway through will cause you to lose your current progress. Wait a second. What are these numbers? Is that saying how many I missed? Because that would be 3. Unless maybe 2 of these are the same. Okay, 2 of these are probably the same. Because I was missing 2, and this is 3, so I was like, wait, what? But, oh, actually 4. But these are probably the same. These are probably the same disc. And it's probably available here too, and then there's one other one. And then there's all these manuscripts to get. How did I miss all these manuscripts? Are they new? Like how? I don't understand where these came from. Oh, some can only be obtained in hard, so that's kind of why. Cool. Well, there's a lot that I like about this. There's a lot that I really like about this. I really like how I was expecting hard to be like start over, but I kind of like this better because I get to use everything. You know, I get to really take advantage of everything I've learned in a new way, you know? Instead of being like, okay, well, the first 7 chapters are just Cloud using Braver. Okay, that's a little extreme, but you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have as much, you know. This is like a New Game Plus hard. But better than New Game Plus, kind of, because they can really up the... Like, it's not just basic stat boosts. Like, they could actually go crazy and change a lot. We'll see what they do. I thought there was one more thing I wanted to do. You cannot leave the menu. No, maybe not. So, here's my idea. I don't know if I'm going to do the Let's Play all the way through hard mode, because it sounds like there's a lot to do, and that would be a lot. Yeah, I'll save before anything. Does this just say, like, finished? Oh, it just says chapter selection. So that would be a lot, and anyone that wants to see, like, hard mode could check out the stream, because we'll be doing it every day, you know? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, we're probably doing it every day until it's done. But what I would like to do as kind of a bonus for the Let's Play for the YouTube audience is I'd like to do the final battle arena stuff, because that's still in normal. Like, that's still part of the regular playthrough. So maybe we'll do that next time as like a little bonus. And then that'll be the end of the Let's Play official. But as soon as we're done with hard mode and completing everything and doing the platinum and all that, I definitely plan on doing some kind of challenge run, speed run, whatever we come up with that sounds the most fun. And that will be on YouTube. So just like my other Final Fantasy VII challenge stuff, like Cloud Soul Necrosis and Curse Ring and all that, we'll do one for the remake. So that will be its own Friday series or everyday series that will be all on YouTube. So that way this isn't the end of the remake on YouTube or anything. So yeah, we'll do a little bonus episode, and we'll do some looking around in chapter select, and we'll do the tournament stuff. And then we will do some kind of challenge run for YouTube, and that should be awesome. So I want to go through all the questions, and I'm going to leave the questions in the Let's Play as well, because I think it'd be fun. Before we do that, before I forget, I want to check the trophies. This is my favorite thing to do at the end of games, is to check the trophies. I love to see what there is in store for myself. Master of Fate. So we got trophy for every... And by the way, I'm fully prepared for a terrible trophy list, because every Square Enix trophy list is garbage. I really hope it's not super garbage. Okay, all the chapters... Easy stuff. Get praised by Jesse at the end of the motorcycle minigame. We blew it. Wow, I have a lot of the trophies. Holy cow. Obtain all 9 bridal candidate outfits. Complete all hard difficulty whack-a-box challenges. I wonder when you could do those. I guess I never did check whack-a-box again. I just thought there was probably just the one. Complete all quests. I wonder if that includes the battle things. No, because there's the battle thing. So I wonder what quests I didn't complete. It's definitely something hidden that I missed. I love that all of these are easily doable. Oh yeah, the odd jobs, yeah. I was afraid that there was going to be like complete all things, but you'd have to do it all in one shot. But with chapter select, it's going to be really nice. Music discs. Attain level 50 with a character. Deal 300% damage to a staggered enemy. Shouldn't I have gotten that with Motorball? I guess it doesn't include Motorball. I got close to that once. I got 270. complete all battle intel. All I have to do is master like one more materia. Also, really nice that I can go back and do that. I was afraid once you got the last Chadley, that was it for that. But now with chapter select, you could easily complete this, which is super nice. Learn all weapon abilities. Learn all enemy skills, which I apparently only have one left. Then we have 2 hidden trophies and complete all chapters on hard difficulty. Alright, I'm going to look at the hidden trophies, so if you don't want to see them, look away now. Alright, I'm going to look now. Oh, interesting. Ooh, interesting. So those just look like extra bosses. They're probably what I have in store in the battle arena. Okay, so this is pretty simple. This is the kind of trophy list that I would say like is okay, but there's nothing that makes it exciting. It's just simply collect stuff. But given that this is a Square Enix game, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 5,000 out of 5,000. Greatest trophy list ever. Claps in the chat. They did it, boys. They didn't completely ruin it. I'm happy. Like, I can't describe to you how terrible every Square Enix trophy list is. They did it. The only way they could make it not bad is to just go super simple, but that's okay. They dialed it back, you know? I'm accepting of this. They couldn't make the best trophy list, so what they did is they just made it so simple there was no way they could do it wrong. I'll give them credit. What's crazy is that this trophy is not far off. The hard difficulty is what we're looking at. Everything else is going to be pretty quick. I have 2 more quests to do, 2 more discs to get. I'm already like level 40. That I already almost got. This I have to go master 1 materia. This is a bit more. I got to go collect the rest of the weapons. I have 1 enemy skill left. These I can probably do right now. And this I could do right now. And this probably won't take long either. So, pretty close. And this will take 2 seconds. So, we're already pretty close to the platinum. There's not much to it. It's just this is the big one. Which, by the way, these percentages are a bit weird. But I guess the only people that have gotten this far are like hardcore players. That's why it's so... I would have to imagine this will be way lower than these by the end of... once everyone gets to the end. So, yeah. I'm happy. I'm happy they didn't ruin it. I wish it could be a bit better. I wish they had like a nice, you know, beat this boss without this, or beat the game. I don't know. Speedrun trophy be a bit much because this is a really long game. And a challenge trophy probably be a bit too much too because the game is really long. Although honestly, with skipping cutscenes, maybe not. But I think there's some cool stuff. Like if it were me, I would have put in something like, oh, beat this tournament, like one of the easier tournaments. Beat this tournament without using this. Like just a couple like unique ones that you could go in and do. These you could almost get all of them on accident. Like you could just play the game and eventually accidentally get the platinum. But like I said, for Square Enix, this is a godsend. This is a godsend because no stupid jump rope trophy. Like they could have easily had like, hey, beat the the girl or the guy in well, they could have done like the dart game. Could have done like beat the dart game 1,000 times in a row. But like I was thinking like this, the pull up thing. Beat the pull up thing on hardest difficulty 3 times in a row in less than 20 minutes. Go. Like there's so many things they could have done that was stupid in terms of the mini games. They could have had like a Final Fantasy VIII trophy where you have to beat 100,000 enemies or something. There's a lot of stupid stuff they could have done. They kept it minimal. So I am happy. Okay. With that out of the way, I'm going to answer the questions that we have. And then we're going to wrap this bad boy up. And then for the Let's Play, we'll do one extra episode tomorrow. and we'll check out. It might be more than one episode, but we'll check out the tournament stuff and see what that's all about. Because I don't feel like the Let's Play's over without at least checking that out. So, but before we do that, let's check these questions out. I'm excited to see the questions you guys had. Let's see. Okay, so Sean said 7 seconds is explained in a chapter select as the time it takes a meteor to destroy Earth. Do you think the Red 13 was a soft confirm of the everyone dies theory? Okay, so yeah, that was one thing that I thought about. So like but here's the thing. Man, this is so cool. So they showed Red 13 at the end. I'm really glad you brought this up because this is something I wanted to talk about and I forgot. They showed Red 13 at the end, right? And Red 13 said it's a dire future that's going to happen if we don't stop it. So that kind of confirms the Armageddon theory a bit. Like, it doesn't really, because this is a different canon, but it gives us kind of a cool insight into the Armageddon theory. That he didn't say the word dire. He said, like, this is the future if we don't stop it, which kind of gives you the idea that it's bad. So it doesn't necessarily completely confirm it. But I don't see why he would say that if it wasn't something that was bad, right? But yeah, that kind of gives you the feeling that the end of Final Fantasy VII is bad in a way, which would give you the understanding that potentially the Armageddon theory is true or some kind of version of it. Certainly it doesn't like prove it or anything, but it's a cool thing to think about. It's a cool thing to think that that ending was not only potentially bad, but also might not happen now. We might get a different ending. We might get an ending where none of that happens, right? So interesting. Very, very interesting. How does Red have cubs if he's the last of his kind? He's not the last of his kind. There's another of his kind named Dinah. But you learn all about that in Before Crisis. Again, if you watch my in-depth look at Red 13, you'll learn all about it. Anyways. Okay, El Greg said, Sephiroth and Aerith both seem to be aware of their destinies, and they both want to modify it, but not for the same reasons. Any clues on why she wants to defy her destiny? So when I first saw it, I thought that what that meant was Aerith was turning back the time so she didn't get killed. But that makes no sense. And if that's what it is, I'm going to be real sad. I think that's maybe the only thing that could happen where I feel like, okay, they ruined it. That would actually turn me really against this plot, if that was the case. Because the whole point of the first game, the whole point of Aerith, the whole point of the whole plot is that Aerith is supposed to be a martyr. So if we're turning back time and saying, like, she doesn't want to be a martyr, that completely destroys everything to me. So that's, yeah, I don't know about that. That would be really bad. Like, they would have to really sell that to me, because that would be a real big difference. No, I disagree. I don't think it's that important that Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse die. The importance of Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge dying is that Barrett gets the fire lit inside of him to go to Shinra HQ and defeat Shinra. He gets that fire anyways, from A, Marlene potentially being dead, B, them potentially being dead, and C, everything else that they build up in the remake that enhances his hatred towards Shinra. So I don't think they have to die. The fact that the plate falls is enough. They don't have to die. He has to think that they died, but that's as far as it goes. If they survive, that doesn't change anything. And the only thing it changes is like future stuff with Cosmo Canyon and stuff. But like, It's not necessary that they die. Aerith dying is incredibly necessary for a lot of different reasons. A lot of the theming, a lot of the characters' themes, like everything. Like everything. It really matters that she dies, unless you're going a completely different way with the plot. So, but, hey, who knows? That does open up a big question, though. What is she trying to change? Why? It almost feels like Aerith is trying to stop Sephiroth from changing fate. See, I was on board with that. It seemed like Sephiroth was the only one that could change fate. Like, he was the one that slashed the fates and they, like, split open. So he was the only one that could, like, change fate. And Aerith was like, no, we can't let him change fate. And I was on board with that. And then suddenly, Aerith was like, let's change fate. And that's where it lost me, right? I was totally on board before. Because Aerith was on the sides of the fates. And she was saying, like, don't hurt the fates. They're helping us. And then Sephiroth was like, screw these fates. And opened up a portal to go destroy fate. And I was like, okay, I'm on board. But then randomly, Aerith was like, let's go defeat fate and make our own story. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? I thought we were on their side. So that's the only part that I really don't get. And I'm going to have to look back and really, like, read it. Because I don't get why Aerith was on the sides of the fates and then suddenly decided not to be. And it would make sense that Aerith would want fate to continue because everything works out for them. Except maybe it doesn't. Because maybe the Armageddon theory is real. Okay, wow. So what if the Armageddon theory is real? Like, let's say that Red 13's talk, like Red 13's line, was saying the Armageddon theory is real. Let's say it for argument, okay? So Red 13 saying that's not the fate we want. That means the Armageddon theory is real. And at the end of the original Final Fantasy VII, when the life stream protects the world against Meteor, it kills all of humanity. Because it was our fault that it happened, and it needed to purge everything because humans are now evil, and so it purged the planet of humans. If that's true, then Aerith is trying to stop fate so Armageddon doesn't happen. That makes a lot of sense. Well, of course, Advent Children never happens, because that's, I think this game is basically, because this game is a new canon. So in this canon, only Final Fantasy VII happened, and then that's fate, and then they're trying to break fate. Advent Children, Before Crisis, all that doesn't exist. So that's kind of that might be what I go with until I get more understanding of Aerith and why she's trying to defy fate. That's my first theory. It's just a theory, but that's my first theory, is that Aerith is trying to stop fate to stop the Armageddon after Meteor Fall. And there's a lot of stuff that goes with that, because, like, how does Red 13 live? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, the Three Whispers could be Kadaj and Laz and Yazoo, but you have to understand, it's the same thing with the picture. It's the same thing with the picture of Shinra. It could be an Easter egg. It could be that's where they got the idea from, but it's not literally them. Or it could be them. We don't know. But it doesn't necessarily mean, like, okay, these characters have the same weapons as the characters from Advent Children, therefore Advent Children happened, and everything that happened in Advent Children is canon. Like, that, you can't make that connection. It certainly could have just been that's where they got the idea. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of my theory going into it right now. I'm sure I'll probably change it. But yeah, like, that's kind of my theory right now, is that Aerith is trying to stop Armageddon, or stop something about... It might not be Armageddon. It might be something else. It might be just everything that came along with meteor fall. All the people that got hurt. Maybe if Advent Children is canon, then maybe she's trying to stop Geostigma and all the people that died from Geostigma. Like, there's so many different things. Maybe she's just trying to change fate so that less people die. Regardless of whether or not real Armageddon happened, maybe she's just trying to protect more people. Maybe she's just trying to rewrite history so that it works out better, you know? So there's a lot of different things you could think about. It doesn't necessarily have to be the exact Armageddon theory that we talked about in our video. It could be any, you know, it could be anything. So, but yeah, that's that. Sir Ricard, thank you for the GG. Silent Velocity. So Aerith knew the plot of the original from the start, and when she touched Marlene and Red, she showed them to... I don't know. That's so weird to me. Like, it doesn't seem like she showed it to Red 13. It almost seems like she gave him the knowledge of the Whispers. That's what he said. He said, when Aerith touched me, I got the knowledge of the Whispers. But maybe he knows more, and he's not telling us. It's possible. It also isn't completely out of the question that he just already knew that, because he is the one... He is the race that does the dance that protects the planet, and he knows all about the planet and can talk. He can't talk to the planet, but he can interact with the planet in a way that other species can't. So, like, he's as close to an ancient as you can get without being one. So he would know more than anyone else, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still kind of lost on that. I don't understand, like, what... Aerith touches Marlene, and then she's like, shh, and then somehow Marlene just gets she's like, okay, I'll be quiet, like, just by her going, shh, like, if Aerith touched me, that's the new book I'm writing, by the way, If Aerith Touched Me, it's going to be on Amazon soon. If Aerith touched me, and I got all the knowledge of everything that was going to happen until Armageddon, and then she was like, shh, I probably would be like, no, you shh, I got some stuff to talk about. So, like, we're all going to die? Like, what's going on? Like, it would be more than just me being like, okay. Yeah. You know? That would not go well. So, I don't know. That's weird. I still don't get it. Great said, who's your new favorite character? Barrett, by 1,000%. Hugo said, do you think the Destiny thing has something to do with the story of the original... is well known. I'm not sure what you meant by that. I think Destiny... I guess we kind of answered that. Yeah, we kind of answered your question. Mom2008 said, it feels like they emptied all their bullets with this ending, scaled the conflict up to fighting interdimensional Eldritch time gods, and also going toe-to-toe with Sephiroth. I like the game as a whole, but it felt too early. Yeah, that's how I felt. That was like the first thing I said was like, wow, they kind of blew all of their gimmicks. They got the scene with Cloud and Sephiroth, and they showed a lot of the scenes through the visions, so they kind of blew everything, and that's why I feel like the next parts are going to be totally different, because they were getting all of their stuff, all of the tropes that everyone wanted to see, they got it all out in this one, so that the next one they can start fresh. That's what I'm getting from this. Whether or not you like that or not, that's what I'm getting from it. And I kind of like it, but we'll see how it goes. Solus said, why do you think the party felt compelled to defy fate? It doesn't feel like there's anything that signaled that Sephiroth was fated to destroy the planet, or that they needed to defy fate. We kind of talked about that. Yeah, I think that Eris is either A, trying to stop Armageddon, or B, trying to stop as many people from dying. Or there's some kind of third thing that she's trying to defend against or protect against that we don't know about yet, that's going to be talked about later. Kickin said, I've been thinking of it more of an adaptation, like how all the Batman movies are so different while using the same characters. I don't think so. I think that they are sticking to the original canon, but then giving themselves the option to change stuff here. Shadow Cloud said, do you think Aerith will still die? Do you think she was aware of the timeline now due to the Arbiters? I don't know. Like I said, they could do all this different stuff, but then still stick with the main story. or they could go completely out. I do feel like there's a chance that Aerith doesn't die, because she seems even more vital to the story at this point. But I really hope they don't go that path. And I think the fact that they showed the death scene, but they didn't show it was Aerith, I think that gives us a clue that, yes, she is going to die. Because otherwise they would have shown her and then been like, let's stop that. But instead, I think that Aerith will die. I think Aerith will die. I think there's too much riding on the fact that she has to be a martyr. If they change that, it's going to be hard for me to stay on board. I'm not saying impossible, but it's going to be very hard for me to stay on board if Aerith doesn't die. I'll be honest. And there's a lot... You know me, from the start of this, I've been very open-minded, and almost everything that they've changed, I've agreed with and stuck with, and even this whole big fate thing, I'm willing to ride the train. There's no getting off of this train, Leon. I'm riding it to the end, but that's probably the one thing that if that happens, it's going to be hard to sell me on it. They're going to need to sell me on it big time if they change that, because there's just too much. So... yeah, it's going to be weird. Silent Velocity said, Seph knows how the OG went down and wants to change the timeline. Yeah, I think that Sephiroth is in the same boat, where he's trying to stop fate as well. If Acid said, if you were awarded a chocobo in real life, what would you name it? Jeff. Evil Cloud said, but if we destroy fate, does it mean we destroy original plot and events? Yeah, like, you know, possibly. Silent Velocity said, Fates and Ghosts won't come back now. It's like we can be excited now again like the original, as we don't know what will happen. I agree, man. It's great that I can be excited for part 2. Well, I can be excited for part 2 until they blow it all in the trailers, because you know they're going to frickin' do it, because they always frickin' do it. Square Enix and their goddamn trailers that spoil everything. I'm gonna be so excited about part 2, and then they're going to start the trailers, and they're going to be like, so, guess what? It's all different, and Aerith doesn't die. Haha, buy the game. Like, like, I guarantee we're going to get some scene with Aerith in the city, totally alive, and we're going to be like, wow, wow, Square, wow. Anyways. Blaze Holmes said, have you checked if classic mode is different between demo and this? Yeah, it said it's still easy. So, unless they change it in a future patch, it's garbage. Hitaru said, as a bonus tomorrow, can you go back and visit the mayor after you do the stairs? Yeah. Do you think he'll say something different? Does he, like, would he maybe, like, yell at you and be like, why did you take the stairs, you idiot? Okay, we'll have to do that. I mean, if nothing else, we can just do it on hard. Brosama said, the dog in the Zack scene wasn't the same stamp. Yeah. That's really weird. I really hope they're not going with some, like, alternate universe, because that's too much. Like, I can get along with the Fate thing, especially since the Fates are apparently dead now. But having alternate timelines is going to be rough. And it's hard for me to get on board with that. But I think they were... Barrett says stamp design was changed and updated by Shinra. Well, maybe that's it then. I don't know. The only thing that I see that makes sense with the whole alternate timeline thing is that Aerith and the crew are walking forward while Zack's walking backwards. And it seems like Zack knows that Aerith is there. And that would be impossible if it were different. You know, if they were just seeing into the past. So that does kind of give like a alternate timeline feel where like Zack knows in an alternate timeline Aerith is alive or something, like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Again, I'll stay on the train until I see where they're going. I can't imagine why two timelines would matter. Why that's important. Man, could you... Oh, man. Could you imagine if alternate timelines were a thing? And imagine if you were someone that never played the original and you have to try to understand the fate thing, the alternate timeline thing, and Cloud. Because Cloud has alternate timelines, but there's not actually, it's his memory. But, like, could you imagine trying to explain to someone, like, okay, wait, so Cloud was a soldier in a suit, but then he also fought Sephiroth? No, that's his memory. Those are two different memories, and one memory is fake and one memory is real. Okay, well, what about Zack being alive? Well, that's a different timeline. We've lost him, boys. Like, there's no way you explain to someone that there's two Cloud timelines, but those are memories, and then two Zack timelines, but those are timelines. Like, that's... How in the world are they gonna explain that to someone that doesn't know the original game? Talk about a game for the new fans. They said at the beginning, oh, it's a game for the new fans. If you've never played Final Fantasy VII, come on down. Lies. Ain't no one understanding that garbage until they play the original game. There's no way. You went full Kingdom Hearts here, Square. Dial it back a couple notches. If you want new fans. I was thinking, too, one of the things I thought about as Cloud was walking into the portal, I was thinking about all the people that messaged me when the game came out and said, I can't wait to play this with my kids and finally show them what Final Fantasy VII is all about in a way that they'll understand. And I was like, you guys got screwed. Let me tell you, you are going to be lost. Like, whoops about that. They're gonna look at you and be like, what did you play when you were younger? Like, this isn't Fortnite. It might be bad, but we can understand it at least. Be like, no, really, it wasn't this complicated in the original, I swear. There was just one Sephiroth. I don't know what's going on. Like, I can just imagine. I can imagine those parents just looking at their kids being like, this isn't what happened. Like, it's not what it looks like. They're looking at their dad like, wow, you had a weird childhood. I don't know what... Holy cow, what were you playing? What kind of drugs? No, I swear it was simpler back then. Oh, man. Oh, man, yeah, okay, so part of the Quicksilver reminded me, as part of the bonus stream, not bonus stream, but bonus episode of the Let's Play tomorrow, we'll do the box opening of the deluxe edition, and we'll do the opening of the deluxe digital stuff, and then we'll do like a comparison and say like, hey, if you want to buy the game, this is the best version to buy. So we'll do that as well tomorrow. Flying Jibly said side quests interesting or boring, interesting or and fun, or boring and monotonous. I loved all the side quests; they were great. Even the fetch quest ones were interesting and fun. I really, really loved the side quests, and I really loved the side quest menu. The side quest menu blew my mind. I absolutely loved how organized and great it was. So I'm a big yes on that. I love the side quest. Let me take a drink real quick. Oh my god, we're 2 hours over schedule. This is crazy. I have to get through these questions. I'm not going to leave them. Great Set said, you think Wedge actually died, or will they surprise us again with him? I have no idea. My thought... Okay, so here's my thought with Wedge. You ready? When the spirits hit Wedge and he fell through the window, I thought that was the Fates putting everything back where it's supposed to be. Because Wedge was supposed to die. So I thought that was the spirits saying, like, the Fates. I'm going to start calling them the Fates, because that's way better. When the Fates killed... I thought they killed Wedge in order to put stuff back where it was supposed to be. But then Biggs lived. So that's out the window. I don't know. Wedge might be alive. I don't know. Biggs is alive, so that's out the window. I have no idea. No idea what's going on with Avalanche. Kraken, scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best game ever. What is it right now? Oh, man, that's hard. I don't want to give it a number until I play all the post-game content and I do, like, a challenge run of it and really, like, inspect every bit of the game and how the combat holds up. Because for me, a big part of a game's review is its replayability. And that's why I hate reading reviews, because you don't get an idea of what the replayability is, because all they've done is played through to the end and then given it a rating. You don't get that, like, well, what is it after you beat it? How does it sit with you? What are you thinking about tomorrow? You know, when I wake up tomorrow, am I going to think like, man, that ending was awesome? Or if I'm going to be like, what happened? Like, there's a lot that happens after you beat the game that really gives you, and you know, back in the day when I played Crash Bandicoot 1, I would have been like, wow, this game is crap. It's so hard. 5 out of 10. Nowadays, I say it's a masterpiece because it's lived through time and it's still great today, and I appreciate it more. So, like, so much of a game's rating is survivability for me. But if I had to give it a rating right now, like, right now, give it a rating, 0 out of 10. 9. I think 9. I want to say 9.5. But can I say 9.3? I can't. 9.3. Because here's the thing. The plot is a little all over the place at the end. But other than that, everything about the plot was incredible, and everything that they built up had a payoff. The music was incredible. The battle system was amazing. The graphics were amazing. Everything about it was amazing. I just feel like the ending was a bit scattered. Screw it. Oh man, it's so hard to say without the post-game content. My heart is saying 9.3, but I can't say anything bad about it. I don't have any, other than the aerial combat and maybe a bit of confusion at the end. But I'm okay with the confusion because there's sequels in the works. I just can't say anything. I can't say anything bad about it. There's nothing I can say to make it to dock points. So, right now, preliminary score, 9.7 out of 10. The aerial combat blows. Is that fair? I'm sure I will change that. And this doesn't include post-game. And this doesn't include anything else. This is just from start to finish. What did I think? 9.7 out of 10. Aerial combat blows. Some of the textures were whack. 9.7. Because I don't know what else to dock points about. I don't know. Like, there's nothing that's hitting me that I'm like, I hated this part, or this part of the plot didn't pay off. Every plot point paid off. Is so amazing. Like, in Square is so bad at that, by the way. I was so ready for Square to put up all these, to knock up all the balls, all the beach balls, and then go for the spike and miss and fall flat on their face, because that's what every Square game is. Like, they set up all the balls and they spike like 2 of them. But every plot point had a great payoff, and I love that. It's so great. And the characters are incredible in so many different ways. The dialogue was fun and never boring. I was never bored. I played for 53 hours. I was never bored. What is a video game if it's not fun for 50 hours? You know? Can I really complain about the textures when I had fun for 50 hours? If a game is supposed to be fun, this game's a 10 out of 10. Because it was fun all the way through. So, we'll come back to this when I do the post game. But it was fun all the way through. How can I really complain? Codeman said, do you think Marlene is an ancient with how it seemed like Marlene sensed something in that scene? No. Marlene's not an ancient. Sorry. I killed your fan theory. The other thing, too, is you have to give it a review based on, like, a remake as well. So that's another thing. Like, as a remake, I think this is a 9 out of 10. Because I think it does the original justice, but then goes off the rails at the end. Which I'm not against, but as a remake, I think that was a bit much. If you're going to call it a remake, they kind of failed in that department. I almost feel like this should be Final Fantasy VII 2 at this point. Or Final Fantasy VII Reboot at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I almost feel like calling it a remake is a bit of a stretch at this point. So, as a remake, I think it gets a 9 out of 10. Because even though the ending was crazy, it made me love the characters more than I did in the original. That is a perfect remake. I can't tell you how amazing that feels. I have been with these characters for 18 years, and I've done in-depth looks on these characters, and I've thought I had pulled every ounce of enjoyment out of these characters I possibly could, and they made me love them more. That is, without a doubt, the best thing a remake could do. End of story. I don't care if the ending is crazy. That's the best thing a remake could ever do, is take the original and make me love it more. If you told me there was a thing on this planet that could make me love original Final Fantasy VII more, I would have said you're full of crap. But now there is. This game made me love the original more. Can you ask more out of a remake? No, you can't. End of story. It's a fantastic remake. 9 out of 10. Dollar Dog Night at the Krispy Kreme. Okay. Marlene has an implied connection to Aerith in the original game, judging by her dialogue in the ending. Maybe this is a way of explaining it. She can impart the knowledge of the ancients to other people. Not only that, but there's so many things that were possible in the original that they like explained in this one, and that's so cool. Even though technically they're not the same canon, it gives us this insight as to like what maybe they were thinking about in the original, and that's so cool. Quicksilver said, do you think Marlene may have some abilities like Aerith from the scene in the bar? I don't think so. I think Marlene is a little girl. Sparksy said, honestly, I'm so glad you're walking in with open arms to the changes. Personally, I'm very excited to see where they go with Zack. I'm excited for where they go with everything, to be honest. And like I said from the beginning, it doesn't ruin the original. The original is still the original. Wherever they go, whatever crazy journey they take us on, we still have the original. It's not like they're going to take the original. It's not like they're going to send Square Enix people to our houses and take the original and be like, no, you can't play this anymore. You gotta play the remake. It's still, not only is it still there, they're still freaking porting it to every goddamn platform on the planet. Ulcimer said, thoughts on the upcoming war with Wutai. That's going to be interesting. I don't know what to think of that. It would be really cool if Wutai had a bigger impact. Young Smithy said, where did you get that Aerith poster? Somebody donated it. To Iris donated it. I don't remember what website he got it from. But, yeah, it was a donation. He also donated a cloud one, too. Miguel Oddsock said, in the following games, will Yuffie and Vincent be optional? I seriously doubt that. Asay said, it's been a long time since a sequel to a game got me so excited from the get-go. Yeah, really, like, part 2 is going to be nuts. Yes, I still have to watch. It's back here. It's right there. You can see it. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that or not. It's right there. Right there. There's the watch. The Advent Children watch. Okay. Basius said, I think they were really teasing us that Aerith can live, only to kill her in the climax. Who knows? Maybe she lives, but I would still like to see her die. Elgreg said, so what's now the interest for Sephiroth to kill Aerith, since he knows that's the very point where he messed up? I don't know. I mean, he still has to kill Aerith to stop Holy. I guess he would need to kill her quicker. But yeah, I didn't think about it that way, guys. I did not think of it that way. If Sephiroth is also trying to stop fate, then wouldn't he not do the thing he did before? He would either kill Aerith sooner or not at all. Interesting. Sephiroth said a lot of interesting things too. Like, he said he didn't want to end us. You remember that? He didn't want the world to end. He didn't want us to end. But then Aerith said he's going to say that he wants to protect the planet, but he's lying. So if we're going by that, then maybe everything is totally different and Sephiroth doesn't want to kill us at all and he has another plan that doesn't involve Meteor. Yikes. But that's what he said. He said he didn't want to end the planet and he didn't want to end us. Or he didn't want to end Cloud, at least. And he said, and Aerith said that he's going to try to talk us into, like, he wants to save the planet, but he's lying. So, like, who knows? We could be going a lot of different ways here. Arco said, do you think the fake ghosts represent the OG fans that don't want anything to be changed in the remake? Yikes. No. No, but they could. I like that theory. Marsh said, I feel like I misunderstood the whole 7-second thing. I think it was just a talk about, like, the meteor destroying the planet in 7 seconds or him killing Aerith in 7 seconds. I don't really know. I think that's going to be expanded in the future. I think we can make some theories about it, but I think it'll be extended in the future. Silent said, I don't think Cloud will have Seph take him over now after this. I think it will change. Oh, you think Cloud will, like, break his grip? He'll break Sephiroth's grip? I don't know. The reunion theory still has to happen. Cloud still has Genova cells in him. Genova still needs to be rebuilt. I don't think any of that has anything to do with Sephiroth, other than the fact that Sephiroth, like, plants the seeds, but... Thanks, Alucard. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I don't think that changes anything, but... We'll see. Vagrant said, that's what I was saying earlier, this game doesn't stand on its own 2 feet, it relies on the player knowing the existing canon, therefore it's not a remake, it's a sequel. That's kind of how I'm feeling. Like, this doesn't feel like Final Fantasy VII Remake, it feels like Final Fantasy VII 2, or Final Fantasy VII Reboot. I don't even see how they're saying this is a good game for the new fans. Their whole argument was like, we're going to make it an action RPG so that everyone can enjoy Final Fantasy VII. And then they're like, you need to know Final Fantasy VII in order to play the remake because this is all really weird. So that's strange. And that might be, in the end, that might be something I dock points for, right? If we're talking about review scores, that might be something I dock points for. If their main goal was to have Final Fantasy VII be accessible to everyone, I don't think this is it. You need too much prior knowledge. But that's just the ending. The first 18 episodes you could play with no prior knowledge and love it and be like, yes. But after that, it's like, whoa, I'm going to have to Wikipedia some of this. I'm going to have to ask Dad about it. Mavic said, so do you have a final score on the game? Yeah, we already talked about that. Silent Velocity might be spoiler for kids are alright's Turk story. Kyrie is from that same for Angel of the Slums, as most people seem confused on her. Yeah, I have to look into that story. That's one of the only, like, extended things that I don't really know a lot about. So, to me, a lot of that extended story stuff was just mentions. I don't think it means that stuff is canon, you know? Like, that's what I was talking about before. Just because something might seem like it's from Advent Children doesn't automatically mean everything from Advent Children is now canon and all that's true. Because you could say the same thing about the original. Like, Cloud's in it, therefore Final Fantasy VII is the plot. Like, no. That's silly. They're obviously going to bring stuff from everything to create this story, but this is still its own story and anything could happen. Pepe said, did you like how Sephiroth was handled in this game? Personally, I miss a lot of the mystery and subtlety that the original used to build up. I agree, but here's the thing. They needed Sephiroth in this game. And I talked about this at the beginning. Sephiroth had to be in this game. It had to be. People waited 18 years for Final Fantasy VII Remake. If there was no Sephiroth, there would have been riots in the streets. So I like that they implemented Sephiroth in a way that does not ruin his character, but made a really cool final boss battle with Sephiroth. That's my take. If you think that it would have been better to just completely leave out Sephiroth and have him kill the president and then leave, that's your opinion. But I think that there would have been riots in the streets because people waited so long and they wanted to see Sephiroth and they wanted his theme and they wanted the fire. And if none of that was in it, they would have been really upset. We already don't have Yuffie. We already have no playable Red 13. We already don't have Vincent. We already don't have Sid. If Sephiroth was also gone, I feel like it would have been an empty game that people would have been frustrated about. So, and like Motorball would have been final boss, it would have been silly. So, I like what they did with Sephiroth. I'm still not sold on the whole he's breaking fate or whatever, but that's down the road. I like what they did with it. Other than the fate thing, you know, because that's still, the jury's still out on that one. Up to that, I think they did a great job with Sephiroth, making him really cool and combining him with Cloud to make a really cool, interesting story, but not give anything away or make it seem like Sephiroth's done. You know what I mean? Like I can still see Sephiroth being cool. It is kind of sad we got like this one-on-one with Sephiroth that felt pretty final. Like they're gonna have to really up the game in the next ones. Mike said, "Can you complain a bit about the music?" Not really. I think some people will complain about the music because it's very unique, but I loved it. I love the variety. Some people are going to be like, I want a guitar the whole time, but most people, I think, will enjoy the variety. And Red Devil said, what do you think of the voice acting? I liked it a lot. Maybe it's not the greatest voice acting of all time, but I think it's great. I think it fit. I had no problems with it. And Barrett is the greatest thing on the planet. Like, his voice actor was truly remarkable. I think he's the one that I can point at and simply say, like, masterpiece. He was remarkable. Everyone else had their goods, had their bads. Not even really bads, but just had their goods and had their whatevers. Sephiroth was good. I don't think he was... Like, he wasn't, like... I don't know. I think I liked Advent Children's Sephiroth voice actor better. And a lot of the other voice act, like, I don't know, I'm not like super sold on Sephiroth yet. Tifa was good, Aerith was good, Red 13 was great. All the other characters were great. I think Barrett's the one that I put on a pedestal. If I'm going to put one on a pedestal, is Barrett. He was, oh my god. Incredible. He was so good. Okay, I think I have to refresh. Oh no, I just have another page I have to go to. Okay. Okay, Joe said, what is your theory on where they are going to take Zack now that he's alive at the end? I have no idea. I'm on the train of Zack walked a couple of extra feet and died until I see him alive in the next game. Fire said, did you think you would have so much fun, or did it exceed your I still can't believe I had fun for 53 hours. I really thought, especially with the action RPG, it's really hard for an action RPG to be this fun for this long. You know, I feel like action RPGs, it's very easy for action RPGs to get boring just because of the way they are, just because of the way that a lot of it's spammy, that just ends up getting boring after a while. Kingdom Hearts offsets that by having a lot of timing things, that the better you are at timing things, the more rewards you get. And so it continues to build on that until it gets to the point where timings are really precise, but you get big rewards out of them. And that's how they keep it spicy. This game doesn't have that. So I was like, man, how are they going to keep it spicy for so long? But I loved it. I never got bored of the battle system. Every time I hit a stagger and then hit an Omni punch At the same time, an Infinity's Edge was coming down. It felt like freaking incredible. It was fun every time. So, and I think a lot of that is because of how well the players play their gimmicks. I think that there's a lot of, and how flashy it is too. It's so flashy that it just never gets old. Smashing stuff and, all the awesome flashiness that all the abilities have, I think that's what really carries it. BG, I finally said BG and not BJ. Said, when the glass shatters, Ledge says, just tell me I made a difference. Do you agree this applies he died? Kinda, yeah. And I think it makes sense that he dies there, but since Biggs lived, who knows? Maybe he also lives. Also, that was like the saddest line. Oh my god. It like ripped my heart out. Digital Monk said, thoughts on Roche joining the party in a future part? Maybe. That was the only character I was going to say there was no payoff. But I guess they're just saving him for later. There was no payoff with a lot of the villains. Scarlet, Heidegger had a payoff, but Scarlet, the Turks, Roche, none of them had a payoff. So I guess they're just saving them for later. I think there was enough payoffs to matter. Sephiroth had a payoff, President had a payoff. And what I mean by payoff is that they built something at the beginning and then it paid off. So like the President was the biggest jerk ever in your face multiple times and then you got to watch him die. That's a payoff. That's the way that good plots are written, is that they build you up to some kind of event that happens later that pays off what they built up before. So almost every character in this game has a payoff. Barrett has a payoff where the collapse happens and he's like, I'm going to get the President, and then you get the scene where he saves the President and throws him and tells him, you call and you tell him. So that he gets a payoff. Tifa gets a payoff, if you noticed. She says that she'll be there for Cloud. Cloud says, I'll be there for you. Tifa says, I'll be there for you. Guess what happens? Tifa saves Cloud at the end there, where he's falling and she jumps and saves him. So each character had a very specific and important payoff, and that's what I love about this plot so much, that they really paid a very good attention to detail and had every character have some kind of payoff with their character. But like I said, a couple of the villains didn't. Scarlet didn't. She was a jerk, and then she had that scene where she let all the scientists die trying to make a new materia. That never got paid off. The Turks, you fight the Turks and they're like, we'll be back, and then they never get paid off. There is a bit of a payoff with Rude, who says, like I said, he was the one to press the button, and I was like, I wonder if they're going to go back to that, and sure enough, he showed a bit of remorse in that one scene. So he had a bit of a payoff with like him showing remorse. But Reno certainly just was kind of like, eh. Sung doesn't really have a payoff either. So I think and Roche especially was like, I'll be back, and then he never comes back. So I think all that stuff is building up to part 2, where they'll continue to build up those characters, and then they'll get bigger payoffs later. Yeah, Reno is the only character I think I don't like. He's just boring. I don't know. He just has this, like, instead of being the comic relief, which I understand why he's not the comic relief anymore, because there's a lot more comic relief in the game, but they changed him from being comic relief to being not caring about anything, and that's just not an interesting character trait to me. A character that doesn't care is never interesting. I've never seen a character in a game, movie, book that didn't care, and I was like, wow, that's a cool character. Like, eventually they have to care, and then that's when they get interesting. There's never a point, where you're like, it's just not a good character trait, in my opinion. It's just not a good character trait. There needs to be more than that, so. But we'll see. I think they're going to build up Reno. And it seems like they're even building up the Turks to be on Reeve's side. Did you guys feel that? It felt like they were having way more remorse than normal. I almost feel like they're building up the Turks to be a bit not the same. I mean, by the end of Final Fantasy VII, you can tell they have remorse, but they still fight Cloud because it's their duty. But I don't know. They seem a lot more remorseful than usual. So maybe they turn sides. And maybe we get to control them. Oh, yeah. Control Rude. Square, are you listening? Zach said, do you think Rufus and Shinra will have a more active role in the plot in the following installments? Huh, that fits. Despite being kind of present in the original, they aren't really relevant before the Mega Materia sections. Yeah, I think they'll play off them more, like I said. Because they still haven't paid them off much in the plot. Darth said, I think it's called a remake so they didn't spoil their plans. Yeah, maybe. What if they changed the name? What if some update comes out and they're like, Final Fantasy VII 2, ha, we played you all. It wasn't the remake all along. I don't think that could work. Twice Dead said, thoughts on Hojo revealing Cloud's past about not being a soldier in the presence of the other party members. That was interesting. More interesting that they didn't say anything about it. He said it and the characters were just like, alright, let's go. So, I don't know. That was kind of weird. Durakem said, do you think instead of the world map, they'll just go to each town as detailed in Midgar? That's what I thought before seeing the final scene. Now I have no idea. Now everything could be different. Now we could leave Midgar and be at the Great Glacier. I don't know. Everything's different. Arco said, do you think they will go the Final Fantasy 15 way of adding paid DLC episodes? And maybe show us what happened to Biggs, Wedge, and maybe Jesse, or what Barrett and Tifa did until they catch up with Cloud. So I think, yes. I think if there's any DLC for this game, it's going to be story DLC. I have a couple reasons for thinking that. For one, they did it with Final Fantasy 15. For two, they have a select your mission screen, which would work perfectly for the DLC. And I almost feel like they did this. How do I get to it again? Here. I feel like they did this specifically for the DLC. Like, it would be so easy for them to just plop a DLC at the bottom here. So, I'm getting that feeling. But Square Enix is weird with DLC. They don't usually do like a lot of small DLCs. They'll do big DLC packages or nothing at all. So we'll see. What was the one I was talking about? I was talking about a DLC, where you play as Red 13 before he gets captured. And it talks more about before Crisis and stuff. Because people were saying, I want to play as Red 13. So that would be a cool way to have Red 13 be playable. And what would also be cool is it would give them some insight as to what Red 13 should be. They could program Red 13 and then make a DLC where you play as him and then get feedback from the community as to like, Red 13's fun or Red 13 sucks, and then implement it in the next game. That would require Square Enix being smart, and the jury's out, but it would be cool and it would help them. So maybe, just an idea. iDub said, what do you think that with all the included fighting involving Red 13 that we cannot control him? Because it was too late. It would have screwed up all the menus. It was too late. I'm happy with what they did with Red 13. I think it was the perfect mix to where we got to see him, but it didn't ruin everything. Asay said, Sephiroth seems to redo his two biggest mistakes, which were throwing Cloud away after he got the Black Materia, and the second is killing Aerith. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Opinion on Rufus... Silent Velocity said, opinion on Rufus seeing the Whispers and Sung not seeing them. Rufus knows things from the previous game too. I don't know. I don't understand why some people can see the Whispers and some people can't. Somebody said, I think it was Barrett, said, if they touch you, then you can see them or something. So, like, you either have to be Eris has to give you the power, or they have to touch you first, and then you can see them. I guess. And it looked like in the Rufus thing, one of them, like, brushed by him, so then maybe he could see them. But they didn't brush by Sung, so he couldn't see them. That's my only thought. I really don't know. I don't understand why some people seem to be able to see it. It seemed like all the people in Sector 7 could see them during the 7th Heaven shootout, because they're all running around scared. So, like, I don't get it. I don't know. I don't understand that thing. And yeah, I think there's a lot more to Rufus. I think we're going to learn a lot about Rufus. I think Rufus is going to be a big character. He might even be like... Because the President was kind of the main villain in this game. Sephiroth was like a secondary, by the way, I'm the final boss. But the President was the big boss. He was the big villain. He was the one that they build up the most. So I think Rufus is going to be that in Part 2. I think they're going to build up Rufus like crazy in Part 2. Because who else are you going to build up? You're basically just adventuring around to random locations. So, and you can't build up like... I mean, you could maybe build up Sephiroth more and then end with the death scene if you're going that route. But we've already built up Sephiroth, so I don't know. I think there needs to be a new character that they build up as a villain in the second part, and I think Rufus fits that, so... Because you need a new... You can't just build up Sephiroth, because you've already built him up. So that would be like a waste. It would be boring. We already know Sephiroth's big evil. So... You know, just from a game development standpoint, you need a new character that brings new problems. It's very important. Like, you can't just have... Whenever there's whenever you see a sequel of a game, it's never just... Unless it's like a simple platformer game. But it's never just, you know, the villain's back and we still know he's evil and we still got to beat him. Like, there's always this new problem that's introduced. Either they have like a henchman, or there's something else going on, or he's being controlled by somebody or something. You know, there's always got to be this extra problem that's happening that we need to solve. It can't just be Wily's back, you know, unless it's Mega Man. Then it can be just Wily's back. But so I think they're gonna buff up Rufus in the next one. Katha said, "What was your favorite boss battle?" Oh, that's a hard one. I really liked Airbuster. Airbuster was dope, even though it was frustrating because I could like barely reach him, and he had like a million health gates. But I don't know, they were all really cool. I think my favorite fight was Hell House, because I loved how his big move was cancelable, and I loved how there were a bunch of different like things going on with it. And I guess technically that's a boss fight, so maybe Hell House was my favorite boss fight, I guess. I wasn't even thinking of him as a boss because he was in the arena, but it was part of the story, so yeah, I guess he was a boss. Lobo said, would you speedrun this game? Rain check on that. I want to complete the post game, and then we're going to decide what kind of cool challenge run, speed run, whatever we come up with. I want to do some kind of special run of the game. Whether or not that's a challenge run or a speed run is... We'll see. What do you think about this game for newcomers? Good luck. Play the first 18 chapters and then get out Wikipedia. Silent Velocity said Fort Condor minigame remake hype. Well, I hope. I hope it's a crazy, like, tower defense game that's not bad. Okay, that was all the questions. Thank you guys so much for the questions. I'm going to end stuff here for the Let's Play until the bonus episodes. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for all of the support and everything. It's been incredible. This has been an incredible ride. I plan on doing a lot more with this game, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. And more than anything, I am very excited to play through the game again, to do all this post-game content, to do challenge runs, to do speed runs, and through all of that, continue to talk about it and continue to read the comments and read what your guys' theories and create this whole new discussion of Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. I'm looking forward to experiencing this game with you guys. I know that the Let's Play was a bit rough because I want, you know, everyone's got to experience it for themselves first. But now that we've experienced it for ourselves, we can now open this up and we can all come together and enjoy the game together and talk about all this stuff together, and it's going to be amazing. So I'm looking forward to that so much, and I hope you guys are too. There will be more episodes of the Let's Play because I'm going to do some post-game content, and we're going to do unboxing as well, so that'll be next. But thank you so much for being here for the general playthrough. I hope you enjoyed it, and I love you guys. Thank you again, and we will see you in the bonus episodes. Peace out.